Hello and welcome to episode 94 of Bearded Banter, the gaming podcast where maybe deep down inside, we're all furries at heart. I'm Shane the Bearded One, your host. I don't know.
Okay.
It's because Josh sent me fucking anime titties. What is my life?
So anime titties, furries. Got it.
It's because it was Hitomi from Killing Bites, Matt.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
That's why. So I was like,
you know what? You know what? I get it. Understandable. Have a nice day.
So I said directly to Josh, maybe I'm a furry. Who knows? I'm Shane the Bearded One, your host. With me, as always, are my co-hosts Matt and Ryan. How we doing today, boys?
Doing all right. Just pretty
Doing
tired.
good. Doing good. Got some water. Ready to talk about video games.
Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated, gamers. Y'all know how you love to ingest copious amounts of Mountain Dew, so please stay hydrated. for those long Fortnite sessions. We got a wonderful show for you today, of course. As always, we've got a general discussion where we talk about what we've been playing. We actually have a discussion question this week. It's not Matt's. We will get to that next time, but I figured out another question. We'll talk about it. And then we get right into the news, which it seems like we have a lot, but actually a lot of them are conjoined, and we'll probably take like a couple seconds to get through. A lot of them can be rapid fire. So we're actually pretty solid on news right now. Not a whole lot, but you know, it wasn't dead this week. So let's get right into it with a general discussion. Who wants to start first?
I can go first. I've been playing a fair few things past week or so, past couple of weeks. I need to get back to playing Devil May Cry 3 for the first time.
I did hear about this, yeah.
Yeah, that game is fun. It's pretty fun so far. It's hard. It is a lot harder than I was expecting.
Yes.
In fact, I actually switched to easy mode because the game was kicking my ass so much.
You know what? No shame, buddy.
No shame in that.
Like, honestly, it's harder than DMC 1, which I think is pretty crazy.
Well, yeah, they had to bring out an entire new version of the game to balance the difficulty because people were complaining about it. So, like, when people say DMC 3 is hard, they aren't joking. Like,
yeah, no, they're not. It's surprising. It's fun, but like I said, very difficult. Played about 7 levels of it. Need to get back to it.
So you're just past the first Virgil fight, then?
Past the first Virgil fight, yeah.
Okay.
But I am really enjoying it and need to get back to it. I just had the Switch version sitting on my system for so long. It's like, yeah, why not? Might as well finally give it a try. Also been playing Vampire Survivors a lot on and off. Again, Switch version.
That's my boy. That's my fucking boy right there.
It's really fun. Very, very fun.
You can see like the addictive nature now, right? Like, I'm not
crazy.
Oh
yeah, absolutely. Like I said, waited for the Switch version, playing it, loving it. Very simple, but it is very addictive.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also been playing a little bit of Baldur's Gate 3 with a couple of friends.
Ooh.
Did a couple hour session of it. Haven't played it in like a couple of weeks or so, just because job, very busy.
What do you think?
It's pretty fun. Only like an hour or two in, but I am really enjoying it from what I've played so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not really a D&D guy, but even as someone who's not really a D&D guy, I've been having fun with Baldur's Gate 3. Mm-hmm. And the 2 games I've actually played and beaten over this period is Gravity Circuit. I played that.
That's me. That was fucking me.
That was great. Great Mega Man-like. And Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
I'll get to it later.
Yeah, just beat that last night. Beat Gravity Circuit a few days ago. Both of those very, very fun. Very much worth the purchase. I'm really excited to see what the Gravity Circuit devs do in the future, because that game was really good.
Yeah, because like Team Reptile has
made
up
first
a
game,
lot of those.
I think.
No, they did Lethal League a while ago. That was their first game.
No, the Gravity Circuit.
Oh,
guys.
The Gravity Circuit people. My bad. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's their first game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you end up playing it because of my recommendation on this podcast? Is that what happened?
Your recommendation, I also heard word of mouth through Twitter as well that it was very, very good, and it did catch my eye when I looked at the Steam page when you suggested it, and I was like, yeah, this seems pretty fun, and it was a really, really good game overall.
It's got a bit of a learning curve just because of how different it plays compared to Mega Man, but once you get the hang of it, it really starts to click.
And lo and behold, I had to pick the hardest stage first when I was playing it because I didn't realize the stages had difficulty. I didn't see the difficulty bars at first, so I pick the ice stage first, which is the hardest. And I was like, God, this is annoying the hell out of me. It gets a lot easier once you get the double jump, though.
The double jump, I never took that thing off. Never.
Same here. Never took that off.
It's like, honestly, that should just be like a part of the base moveset. It shouldn't just be a chip upgrade. But yeah, gravity circuit's great. And I'm glad you gave it a shot because honestly, anyone who's a fan of Mega Man should play that game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Bomb Rush to me. I need to play it.
You definitely need to play it. You will dig it. You will dig it.
Bomb Rush 2 was a lot of fun. Switch version isn't entirely stable, I will say.
I was worried about this. I got it on PC, but how's the Switch port looking?
It crashed on me 3 times throughout my playthrough. 1 hard, 2 soft. Thankfully the game saves all the time, so I never lost any progress when it crashed. And I moonslid at one point when transitioning through areas, but that was funny. Yeah, so it's not the most stable, but none of the instability ruined the experience for me. But I do hope that Team Reptile patches the Switch version because I genuinely cannot remember the last time I had a Switch game crash on me, and this one did 3 times.
Honestly, I'm trying to think. Switch games very rarely crash unless they're garbage shovelware or dog shit ports.
Yeah, I've maybe once, if ever, had a Switch game crash on me beforehand, and this one did 3 times in a 5 to 6 hour playthrough.
Yeah. I was wondering about that because I picked it up on PC and had 0 issues. It ran like a dream.
Yeah.
So I was wondering about the Switch.
Yeah, other than that, the game runs good. You control smooth, the frame rate is good. It's really just the crashing that was a problem because it happened when I was transitioning between areas twice, and once I might have jumped at the final boss the wrong way, hit a weird collision thing because I just landed on the boss, snapped, frozen, soft crash.
Weird. Yeah, that's weird, especially for a game like Bomb Rush where you're like, oh, that doesn't seem like it's very physically demanding of anything, so it's weird that
not at all
weird issues.
No, it's not demanding. It's a Dreamcast game.
Yeah. So it's weird to hear about that, but otherwise, I'm glad you're enjoying it, and I will talk about it when I get to what I'm playing. But Matt, what have you been playing lately, buddy?
Well, I've been prepping. I finally got Baldur's Gate 3. I have not started it yet because I'm going through BG2. I'm finally finishing up my BG2 playthrough that I started a year ago and then never finished.
I did see you playing that the other day.
I just beat Shadows of Om. I'm moving on to the expansion with Stone of Ball. I got I forgot how hard the game is. But then again, it is a game from 1999. It's a CRPG from 1999, so it is meant for hardcore RPG fans first and foremost. If you're not paying attention, you will absolutely get annihilated in 2 seconds. You got to be prepped for everything. But still, I think that game is at the upper echelon of just game stories in general. If you are big into story-based games, the Baldur's Gate games are must plays. They're still unmatched, and the villain of Baldur's Gate 2 is one of my favorite gaming villains. I think he's fascinating and really compelling, and he's got a great voice actor too. Some really iconic lines. Just definitely, those games are they're definitely of their time, and they're hard to get into nowadays because they're over the top, the top down, the real time RPG stuff, so you have to be
Yeah.
in the right mindset. But if you're into those kind of games, they're like $5 on Steam. They're really cheap.
Yeah.
And they're also
cheap.
on the
Because,
Switch.
like,
They're on the Switch too, and they run really good on the Switch.
oh,
So,
they're on Switch? Oh,
yeah.
shit, I actually did not know that.
Yeah, so if you can, I'd say like they're perfect. They're the perfect kind of games to play on the Switch because you can actually on the Switch like handheld, you can see the game like the entire screen. So and they're cheap. You can get the enhanced editions for like $5 to $10 each, and then Siege of Dragon Spear for the first one is also like $10. So you can get that, and that's like what $30 with the entire for 400 hours a game because they're long games. Like that's I'd say that's a steal.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I think that's really good.
Here it is.
I wonder if 3 will come to Switch because it's going to be on Xbox.
No,
Really?
no, it's just too demanding. Apparently,
Is it? Because I don't know if it just
they're having
needs...
issues getting onto PS5. That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, I would take that more as an optimization issue because, like, Baldur's Gate 3 looks good, but it's not like Cyberpunk or something.
Well,
the
problem is the game is huge. That's the big fucking problem.
I
True,
would 100% be. I would 100% see if they do bring it. It'd probably be a cloud version, which would suck, but it is what it is.
It's funny.
Okay.
They said they have no plans to bring it to the Switch. They are having issues getting it onto PS5 for next week because it comes out on the 6th. On this, and they're out, and there's reports that they're having issues optimizing it, and then the Xbox version is indefinitely delayed because they cannot get it to work on the Series X.
Actually, there's an update on that. Yep.
Yeah, not
they
to
said,
not.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, not spoiling the news a little bit. That will say it's gonna come to Xbox, but Series S is not gonna have split screen co-op. Is what I think they have said.
Probably because it's having issues optimizing it.
Honestly, it just sounds like devs hate the Series S. Honestly,
yeah, and I think with the Baldur's Gate news, Phil came out like true transparency, and been like, at this point, we're not demanding like each version be like the same thing. If you need to cut corners for Series S, just do it. And I'm like, this was going to happen eventually. Like this was an inevitability.
I think the issue is coming to Baldur's Gate 3 just so big. On PC, the game's like 150 to 200 gigs. It's a massive game.
God.
Last I checked, it was because Bones.
It's 156.
Bones installed on my Steam Deck, and last I checked, it was 123.
The main story is like 80 hours, and in order to get like the main story is 80 hours, and you'll only see like a tenth of the game if you play it through once. It's insane. Like the amount of stuff in the game is like fucking. It's absurd. It's like this will probably never be attempted again. I can't see a game like this ever coming out again.
It will be, especially as technology goes further.
But I've never seen something like this in like a Western RPG though. Like it's insane.
Yeah, guarantee you, Final Fantasy 19 or 20 is gonna be like this sized.
It's gonna be it's Final Fantasy. It's probably like Final Fantasy 17 or whatever. The next time, the next one they're gonna do is gonna be like this huge, massive thing.
No one wouldn't mind it being that big. God, so many developers are like complaining about like Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate 3 raising the bar so high.
We'll just make better games, idiots.
Yeah,
just fucking step it up.
Ubisoft.
A skill issue.
Ubisoft shit in their pants right now.
Ubisoft realizing, oh shit, our open world games are getting hardcore exposed right now.
Oh shit, we actually have to evolve the formula. What?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh no. But I will be playing Baldur's Gate 3 once I beat BG2. That is if not Sea of Stars takes over, because that's
Sea of Stars will consume your life come Tuesday. So
that looks great.
Don't worry, I took Tuesday off of work. So
debating whether or not I just want to wait for the physical version of that, because I'm gonna get the physical version of that either way.
You'll be waiting a little bit for that though.
Yeah, that's like what, January 24th?
Early 2024, no date, but
no date. Okay. I'm just playing it. I haven't pre-installed. It's over. Like I'm playing
it's over, dude.
I'd hope it's not January because that would mean we have like Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, P3 Reload, Sea of Stars Physical, and FF7 Rebirth all around the same time.
Your wallet.
I just got whiplash from that. Whoa.
Grand Blue Fantasy Relink and P3 Reload come out back to back days.
They're literally like the day after, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
Oh god, it's yeah.
Oh god.
But yeah, that's all I've been really playing, and also the new Fortnite season came out. Shane, have you played?
I have not tried it yet. No.
It's really good.
I know it's heist themed.
Just out of all the seasons that have come out for this chapter, it's my favorite. Like easy.
Oh, even more than Mega City.
Oh well, all the new weapons they introduce are like real.
Gotcha.
Really strong. And don't worry, the fields are still there. It's okay.
Is that like the thing that like people are showing like the official art and thinking like the Phantom Thieves are gonna come to Fortnite because they made like Fortnite official art that looks just like that shot of the Phantom Thieves walking towards the camera?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just imagine.
I doubt that's happening.
Just imagine. I've learned to never say never with Fortnite. So
yeah, I would love for it to happen. I mean, we got Futurama last season. I didn't see.
Yeah. Why would it not happen? Fortnite's gotten way weirder than Persona.
Yeah, it's gotten way weirder than Persona. Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is back there. Ahsoka is the big character this time.
Yeah.
Now, but yeah, check out the new season when you can. It's really good. It's really strong.
Got it.
So, what have you been playing, Shane?
Well, before I get to my stuff, I want to apologize to Ryan because it seems I interrupted you before I went to Matt. Do you remember what you were going to say before I cut you off?
What were we saying? Like, I'm trying to think. What was I going to say about that? Yeah, we were saying something.
Because I realized I realized I cut you off before I let you finish, and I was like, "Oh fuck."
I'm trying to remember what the last thing I said was. Maybe if you just go ahead, it might come back to me.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna talk about Bomb Rush at the end of mine. So when we get there, maybe it'll come up. So a couple things I've been playing. Not a whole lot to talk about for me. 4 things mainly. I started playing a new Metroidvania that I learned about recently. It's called Aeterna Noctis, and it's one of those games that you probably have never fucking heard of in your entire life.
No, that's new to me.
So I didn't know this game existed before last week, and the only reason I found out about it is because I saw an ad for it on my timeline. Apparently, they were having a big sale on Switch. It was like 60% off, and it looked cool. And I love Metroidvania, so I was like, sure, why not? I picked it up on Switch, I started playing it, and it's pretty aight. It's aight.
It's meh.
It's unfortunate because it's giving Symphony of the Night vibes, just in terms of its like tone and atmosphere, and also the fact that you play as an Alucard type character. Like, it's one of those things where you play as the villain of the story. But that's all it really has going for it. It's got really nice visuals and the music is great, but it's like a run-of-the-mill Metroidvania. I've played it for 5 hours now, and it hasn't really shown me anything to make me think that it's more than just like run-of-the-mill Metroidvania game. It really does nothing to stand out from the crowd. That's also coupled with the fact that I regret buying it on Switch because the Switch port is rough.
This is not work.
It's in handheld mode. Resolution dips low. I'm talking it looks like 360p at points. Like, it's blurry as fuck. Which makes me think that there's like some heavy resolution, like dynamic resolution scaling happening in this game to make it run. But yeah, the resolution gets really low, and it's unfortunate because the game doesn't run all that great on top of that. Like, it chugs. And it's really unfortunate because I had high hopes for the game, just seeing everything I saw before I went into it. And then it turns out it's just like a pretty average Metroidvania, and also the version I got is kind of ass. But hey, it was on sale. So, no buyer's remorse from me, at least none that I'll talk about publicly. But yeah, if you're looking for a Metroidvania to like fill your time, go for it, I guess. I think it's still on sale, but avoid the Switch version, please, for your own sake. Just do it. Then I was playing Blasphemous because Blasphemous 2 came out over the last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back and played, started replaying the first one a little bit. Blasphemous is great. That's a fucking Metroidvania right there.
Yeah.
It's
got
that
game.
Like it's got like that Spanish gothic aesthetic. It's got insane fidelity in its pixel art. It's disgusting in the best way possible. It's really cool, and it controls great, and the combat is great. The one thing I did notice replaying it is that while it controls fairly well, it's a little bit janky. Just like the tiniest little bit of jank in terms of movement and combat, because the Pentiment one in Blasphemous 1 feels very heavy. Like, kind of feels like you're controlling a tank half the time, and that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, but it takes a very Souls-like approach to combat, where it's like very slow hitting combos, parries, dodge rolls, and with a character that's like that heavy and that glued to the ground, it kind of becomes a little cumbersome in combat because it feels like he's not responding to your actions as well as you would hope. But otherwise, the game's great. Incredible world building, fantastic visuals, excellent music. It's just a great game. And then I went straight into Blasphemous 2, which I haven't played a whole lot of yet, but I had it on pre-order. It's just better. It's what a good sequel should be. It takes the foundation of the first game, builds on it, and improves it in every single way. Case in point, the one major con I just talked about. The one major con I just talked about in terms of like the fact that your character feels very heavy and it kind of impacts combat in a negative way. That's completely gone. Feels much snappier, much more responsive. Feels a lot lighter, like you have more control, like mid-air movements, and the dodge is better. It just feels better to control, which makes the combat a lot more satisfying. And also, in comparison to the first game where you only had one weapon, so you didn't have much freedom of choice in terms of how you approach combat because you only had a sword. The game lets you choose between 3 different starter weapons. So there's like the sword from the first game. There's like a dagger that gives you like really quick slashes, very very fast attacks. And then there's this big fuck you hammer bell. That's like it's like a ball and chain kind of thing. You just swing that shit and it destroys people. So it's cool that he give you options. I don't know if they let you have all 3 later on and you can like switch between them. I only just started the game and they make you pick one. But it would be cool if like those would be upgrades you get later on. Like you can have all 3 in your arsenal and you can like quick swap between them. I think that'd be cool. But yeah, so far, Blasphemous 2 is just an improvement in every way. And if you love Blasphemous 1, obviously you're going to like the second one. So I highly recommend anyone who likes Blasphemous 1 or anyone who likes really gorgeous looking Metroidvanias with Souls-like combat. Yeah, I know. I see you, Matt. Go play Blasphemous 2. I'm going to say Bomb Rush for last because I think that's the big game that I've been playing lately. But this one was arguably the biggest game that came out last week, and it's Armored Core 6.
Got that in the mail yesterday.
Whew.
Okay. How much have you played?
Not very much. I'm only like an hour in. I've only done a couple missions. This is my first Armored Core. Never played any of the other games. I was the kind of person who was introduced to FromSoft through the Souls games and never went back to try any of their older stuff. So this is the first Armored Core I've ever played, and this is a much different FromSoft than the Armored Core days, because now they have all the Souls games and Sekiro and Elden Ring under their belt. So they're a very different developer than they were back then. So a lot of people were like, how are they going to take what they've learned from the Souls series and maybe implement it or change Armored Core in any way? They didn't. It's just Armored Core. From what I can tell, it's just an Armored Core game.
Money management, the game.
Yeah, pretty much. Do you like menus? Then you'll like Armored Core 6. I gotta say though, like when you're actually, and I don't mind the menu management. I like tinkering with the mechs, putting different pieces on them, making different builds. And I've seen all the stupid bullshit memes that people have slapped onto their mechs on Twitter. I've seen Gundams. I've seen Avas.
Kirby mech.
I've seen.
I see people who just have an orb.
Yeah,
and it's just one beam.
I've seen Ava Unit 1.
I've seen a minion. I've seen it all.
I'm waiting for someone to make Gurren Lagann.
I'm surprised that hasn't been a thing.
Same, yeah.
But yeah. So first Armored Core. I went in with a completely open mind. This shit rules, dude. It's so good. I don't know how the old Armored Core games used to handle, control, feel. I don't know. No previous experience. The way this game controls is so smooth. Like when you're boosting through an environment with your mech, you're blasting down enemy mechs, you're flying through the air, you got your sick laser sword, you swoop in for a quick melee kill, and then you blast out, and then a big-ass fucking attack helicopter comes down, it's like, target acquired, and then it just starts shooting missiles at you, and you're like flying around, dodging all around. It's so sick. It's nothing like a Souls game. Please, if you're like me, who was introduced to FromSoft through Souls, and you've never played Armored Core, it's not a Souls game. Don't go into this thinking it's gonna be Souls but with mechs. It's not. But goddamn, it's so fun and it controls so well. I really hope, honestly, that one day either FromSoft or someone else will do a Elden Ring style open world game with this kind of mech movement and combat. Like, I just want Raven to be put in Elden Ring and see what happens. Because I feel like an open world game with this kind of mech gameplay would be sick. Because that's not what this game is at all. It's purely mission based. There's not much exploration. Fairly linear. Environment design is gorgeous. Like, the environments look fucking stellar. But they are very small and very self-contained. And they are not meant to be explored in any way, shape, or form. It basically tunnels you from one objective to the next. Don't think twice about it. Basically Armored Core. So all the people who thought that they would do anything to change the formula to make it more like Souls or Elden Ring, no. They just made an Armored Core game that has better polish. And that's basically what Armored Core 6 is. And if that sounds like heaven to you, if that sounds like something you'd fuck with, then go for it because it's great. I'm loving it so far. As someone who has no experience with the series, pick it up. It's great. I dig it. Now time for Bomb Rush, baby.
Bomb Rush, Cyberpunk.
This is easily the most I've spent with a game over the last week. Because it came out last Friday on the 18th. And I picked it up and I basically played through the entire game in like a day. I spent 10 hours on it. I spent 5 on Friday, 5 on Saturday, and I beat it in basically 2 sittings. This is Jet Set Radio without the jank.
Yeah.
And if anyone out there is a fan of those kinds of games from the Dreamcast era, if anyone is a fan of really stylish games, if anyone's a fan of funky ass music, Bomb Rush is the way to go, because this is the Jet Set successor that I think everyone was expecting it to be, and it was essentially that and so much more, because it's honestly very surprising how similar it is to Jet Set, even down to like mission design, world design, feel, look. It's basically Jet Set to a T, to the point where some might even say a lot of it's recycled from Jet Set. Like, there are dead ass environments just taken right out of Jet Set Radio and given a new coat of paint. And you basically do the exact same thing you do in Jet Set, tag them, bag them, get up reputation, you fight the crew in that area, beat them, move on to the next. And it's basically the same game, just 25 years later. And that's not a bad thing, because Team Reptile polished it to a T. All of the jank that exists in those old games, completely gone. And it's gotten to the point where it's become like Bomb Rush is the Tony Hawk-like game that Jet Set always wanted to be, but it could never fully achieve because, it's an older game made on older hardware with less experienced devs. I've seen insane videos of this game, insane combo videos, because a lot of the gameplay of Bomb Rush is doing combos, grinding, tricks, wall runs, all of that stuff. There are some insane like combo mad videos out there for Bomb Rush. People getting like tens of millions of points in one combo, just going all across the city. I'm like, this is what the devs wanted Jet Set to be, right? Like, this is the vision, and now it's finally come to fruition with Bomb Rush. Music is fucking killer. Fucking insane music, and it's not all Naganuma. Naganuma only does a couple tracks.
Yeah,
because a lot of people were like, "Oh, Naganuma, he's doing the whole soundtrack." No, it's a bunch of different composers. Naganuma only does like 2 or 3 songs, I think. He's
something like that.
He's very light on the soundtrack. However, when he comes to play, he comes to fucking play. But the whole soundtrack is killer from start to finish. And it's been so long since I played Jet Set, I don't even remember if Jet Set tried to have a story at all.
It did, kinda.
I think Future does.
It kinda does. Like, it has lore, but like outside of that, when I played Jet Set, I didn't really listen to the story. That's the thing. It's not a story experience game. It's like a vibe game, if that makes sense.
Well, that's why I bring it up, because Bomb Rush actually tries to have a story that's like pretty present throughout the game. And it obviously, tackles themes of like corruption in the police force and, corrupt society, blah blah blah. It's really weird, because obviously they really cared about the story because they make it very prominent. I'm not gonna say it's a good story.
It's alright.
It's alright. And they try to have these. They try to take these angles with certain characters to set up like twist reveals, and it's the most predictable shit. Like, you can see it coming a mile away. I'm like, like there's a twist near the end with a certain character, and I'm like, I predicted that as soon as that character was introduced. Like, this was going to happen, and sure enough, that exact thing happened. So yeah, I just bring it up because they clearly want you to pay attention to the story. It's like a bigger part than it used to be in the older Jet Set style games. But you're here for the vibes. You're here to do Tony Hawk tricks. You're here to do graffiti. You're here to break dance to Naganuma tracks, and the game succeeds in spades in that regard. This is the Jet Set successor we all wanted, minus the jank. It's basically like the pure distilled form of that style of game.
I think there's still a little jank, and I think it could be improved in some areas, but I do think it is overall still a very good game. Because I can even like combat's not all that great in the game, truth be told.
I will give you that. Yeah, combat's the one thing where I'm like, this definitely was kind of an afterthought, but they make you do so much of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there are some things like I think I would have liked if you could rack up points from doing combos around the world and you use those to buy cosmetics instead of just having to like find them around the map. Because there's really no point to just doing combos and tricks when you're not doing it for something specifically.
Yeah, when you're not doing it for like a
mission,
crew battle or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And also I really wish there was always a mini map shown because the areas can be pretty confusing and it's annoying to have to just keep your phone out the whole time to just try and see where the hell you're going.
It makes you look like an insane person because you're like doing all these crazy tricks and wall running and like blasting yourself all around, and he's just face first in his phone.
It's a commentary on how we are all stuck on our phones. We live in a society.
It's social commentary, guys. It was this was planned from the get-go.
Absolutely not. It absolutely was planned and not a side effect of weird game design.
Yeah. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed my time with Bomb Rush. It's been a while since I've just sat down and marathoned a game like that. So kudos to Team Reptile. They delivered. I would say they delivered overall, and Bomb Rush is probably in my top 3 of the year right now.
Yeah, I'd probably pick up a physical version of this game when it more than likely gets one, because I think it's a pretty safe. I think with how big this game is, it'll get an LRG release at the bare minimum.
100%. It's just a matter of time before a limited run is like, hey, Bomb Rush.
Yeah,
I would buy the collector's edition of that for the soundtrack alone. Just saying.
Yeah. Although you don't even need to because they've put the whole soundtrack up on like YouTube and they've said it's like copyright free or something that.
Yeah. Which is really cool. I really appreciate that because there's a lot of smaller content creators out there probably doing Bomb Rush content, and they don't have to worry about content ID claims because the music's royalty free, which is very cool.
Yeah.
With that said, though, I think we can move right into our discussion question of the week to wrap things up here. This is related to Armored Core 6 because obviously it's the new big FromSoftware title. FromSoftware, of course, being an acclaimed developer in the industry. And it really got me thinking, man, they've been around for a long time, even before Souls. And they've made a lot of games. And it made me start wondering. So I'm going to pose this question to you. What is the first FromSoftware title you've ever played? Start with Ryan.
Dark Souls 1. A friend of mine gave me a code for that on Xbox, and I played a little bit of it, and I thought it was all right. Truth be told, I'm not really that much of a FromSoft guy. I've tried multiple of like their Souls-like games, and I don't know if I need to just keep playing more of them. Like if I need to let it sink in to try and get into. I'm like Sonic in the Sonic movie 1, looking at the dog. Well, I don't see the appeal. I don't know. I'm just not the biggest fan of like how movement is, how combat is. Like I don't know. Maybe if I give it one more try, I'll enjoy them a little bit more. But it's like played a bit of Dark Souls 1. Maybe I'll like Armored Core more. I don't know. I have 6 now, so I'll give that a shot.
I feel like with those criticisms in mind, you would probably dig Armored Core a lot more because it's a lot faster.
Yeah.
You have a lot more movement options. Obviously, with the mechs, you can glide, you can fly, you can hover around. There's a lot more options in terms of movement and combat that you would probably be more aligned with.
Yeah, and also Souls games expect you to play 50 to 60 hours with barely any story, which no.
I mean, Armored Core isn't much. Armored Core isn't much different, so.
Oh, I don't expect it to be.
FromSoft is very flavor text heavy. If you're into like vague lore of assumptions of dark, like maybe this happened thousands of years ago, but we don't know type of storytelling, you have to be into that.
Elden Ring being nominated for Best Narrative last year. Kiss my ass, Game Awards.
Kiss my ass, Jeff Keighley. Matt, what's your first FromSoft title?
It is a Souls, but it's not Dark Souls. It's Demon's Souls for the PS3, the original one. The OG. I had a friend of mine at the time, who had it on PS3, and I played a little bit of it. It was my first experience with that type of game. I got obliterated, pretty much right away. He was really good at it too. Like he basically found like the way to beat it pretty quickly too. So that was my first real experience, and Demon Souls is very different from Dark Souls too. I think I'm glad it got the PS4 remake, which looks fantastic. But I hope it comes to PC at some point because I want to play the fuck out of it. I want to play the fuck out of it, but it's a very different game. Demon Souls has a very unique mechanic where the better you are at the game, the harder the worse you are at the game, the harder it gets. Because the more you die,
I don't get.
No, well, because when your character dies, the world around the character like darkens, which makes the monsters stronger.
I get. Oh, sorry.
No, but like so like it has that kind. So it kind of forces the player to like really think through what they're about to do. But if the enemies are stronger, they also drop better loot. So the game doesn't like immediately cripple you.
It's kind of like a risk reward thing.
It's a risk reward thing. It's the only one that does this, by the way. None of the Dark Souls games or Elden Ring, none of them do this. It's only this one.
Yeah, it just seems counterintuitive because it's just like, oh, the player's dying a lot. That means they're having trouble with the game. Let's make it harder for them.
Yeah, get better.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much it's that get good, bitch. Which is Demons. But like, that was the first one I played. And then I've played all the Souls games. I played Sekiro. I played Elden Ring. I've never played Armored Core. I want to play an Armored Core. I might get 6 if I can afford it. Baldur's Gate 3 was $80 though. So
full price, baby.
Full price game, baby. I'm the biggest thing as I know is I want to go back and maybe play, like, if I can find them, Kingsfield, like the old Kingsfield games.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because those are also like influences on Souls. They were like the ones that really like they used as like templates, and I would love to see how they hold up. Probably very jankily.
They're probably not that good.
They're probably super jank. But I would love to go check them out. And regardless, but yeah, Demon Souls for the PlayStation 3,
the PlayStation 3 home video game console
with it. And my friend had the big fat one too, so that should tell you how old.
I wish I had the big fat one. God damn it!
You'll get that on PC before you get Bloodborne on PC.
Don't remind me, bitch.
I've given up on Bloodborne on PC. Vaporware, it's gone.
I would
never
honestly
happening.
At this point, I would be more into hacking a PS5 to get the 60 FPS patch on that before it comes to PC.
You know what would be funny? You know what they should do? Just to piss us off, they should release Bloodborne 2 and have that on PC and not Bloodborne 1.
Put it on PC and not PS5.
That'd be funny as fuck, and I would totally be down with that. That'd be hilarious.
We made it up. It's a made-up tale. It's a total fabrication. It never happened. It never happened.
It never happened.
So yeah, mine is a little bit of a curveball because I would say technically Dark Souls 1, it was the first one I owned, but it was not the first one I played because back in the day, my friend sold me his copy of Dark Souls for $360 because he was selling a bunch of games, and that was the big thing at the time. So I was like, you know what, $10, sure, I'll take that off your hands. I didn't end up playing it until way later. Bones played it before I did. So actually, Dark Souls 1 was the first game I owned, but the first FromSoft game I actually played was Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin on the PS4. Which is a very weird one to be your first Souls game, first FromSoft game. Especially because people bitch all the time about Scholar of the First Sin being the inferior version. Dark Souls 2 is a very interesting game. Obviously, having not played the first game at that point, you don't have much of a frame of reference, right? So you're like, oh, this is a cool new kind of game I've never played before. This is interesting. And then you don't realize just how much was changed from the first game that actually makes it worse and more counterintuitive. A lot of people are not fans of Dark Souls 2. I tend to be one of those, just because there's a lot of design choices they made with that game that are just very weird and not fun.
It's the weakest of the three.
Worst.
Yeah,
it's the worst. It's the worst Souls like they've made.
Yeah,
easily.
And it's the worst of the 3 Dark Souls. Yeah.
I'd say it's the worst of all their Souls likes, and that's including Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, and Sekiro.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It's just very weird. It's very weirdly designed, and it's very counterintuitive, and it makes playing it even more of a chore than a Souls game already is. But yeah, that was my first FromSoft game. I should probably go back and try it again and see if my opinion has changed on it all. Will I? Probably not anytime soon.
It's not as bad as I think some people make it out to be.
It's not the worst game ever.
When they added stuff with like the DLCs and stuff, they fixed a lot of the issues. But the release version, Dark Souls 2 is kind of a mess.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I think the issue is more just that the bar is so high to begin with, that when you get a game that's just it's pretty good, it's already like not up to that standard, even if it's like still pretty good. It
already had expectations it needed to reach, and it didn't. So
yeah. It's like when a mainline Nintendo game or Sony first party exclusive is kind of mid, because you just
kind of like it's fine.
Days Gone.
Days Gone.
Days Gone. Yeah, that's the one I went to. That's the one I went to.
Loki and Rising.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Dark Souls 2 also had the setback, the handicap of not being directed by Miyazaki, and it being the only one not directed by Miyazaki.
He was busy at the time doing other stuff. That's the thing, right?
Like, was he doing
Bloodborne? I think.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that really shot it in the foot, like right off the bat. But yeah, that was the first FromSoft I ever played, and I've gone back and I played all the Dark Souls games. I played Sekiro, I played Bloodborne, Elden Ring, and now I'm playing Armoured Core 6. So it all comes full circle.
Yeah.
But with that said, boys, you know what it's time for. Let's not delay it any further. It's time to get right
into the news.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate you. So we got, like I said at the beginning, we got a lot of stories, but a lot of them are connected, and a lot of them can just be like lightning round shot through pretty quick. So we should be okay. We shouldn't be here too long. Starting off with some stuff for me, because it's my show. Y'all remember a little game called Alien Hominid?
No.
Are you being serious?
I don't know what that game is. No, I don't know what that game is.
Newgrounds.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
It's the one with the little yellow alien dude.
Okay.
So
wasn't it made by the same people who did Castle Crashers?
Yes, it's made by the Behemoth, same developer.
Okay.
This was their game before Castle Crashers, and they just announced that they are bringing it to modern platforms in the year 2023. So let's read. Alien Hominid HD will be coming to most modern platformers. Man, I'm tired. Most modern platforms, the developer, the Behemoth, has announced. The classic run-and-gun game was originally released on entertainment website Newgrounds as a Flash game back in 2002. I didn't realize it was that old. Holy shit. Before being ported to the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube in 2004 and the GBA in 2006. I'm learning so many things today, guys.
It was on the fucking GBA.
Holy shit. Wow, okay. An HD version was then released for the 360 in 2007, and this version is still the only way to play it on modern systems today via Xbox backwards compatibility. In a blog post, the Behemoth has stated that it is planned to remedy this by releasing Alien Hominid HD on Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, and Steam. No PlayStation version. The game will be re-released this year alongside Alien Hominid Invasion, an all-new reimagination of Alien Hominid with new gameplay and new mechanics. That one is planned for release on Xbox, Switch, and PC. So this one is 100% for me because I love Alien Hominid. I legit remember playing it on Newgrounds back in the day before HD came out, and then I played that on my 360. So this was 100% for me. But I also found it a little weird that when they announced this, no PlayStation versions. Very strange to me. I don't know why. Then again, Alien Hominid was never on PlayStation other than that first release on the PS2, and every release since then has skipped PlayStation for whatever reason. I have legit no reason why. And it's a very weird omission. Very strange. But yeah, this is 100% for me. I just love Alien Hominid. I don't expect you guys to have anything to say about this, which is fine. This is
just said it's from the Castle Crashers guys.
It is from the Castle
Crashers
Crashers
now,
guys.
I guess.
Yeah, you can play it on Steam later this year, so hurrah for that. Moving on, also for me, but I guess for Ryan now, since he started playing it, we got some Vampire Survivors news. Apparently, there was some footage of a director's cut that was leaked last week. So let's read about this. The studio behind the critically acclaimed Vampire Survivors has confirmed that the footage shown from its unannounced director's cut earlier this month is legit, and that its contents will be coming to the main game. In early August, author and accessibility consultant Laura Kate Dale tweeted that she had attended an event for the game's upcoming co-op mode and was pulled aside to look at a different version of the game. According to Dale, who included gameplay footage in her tweet, the new version features wild new characters, stages, weapons, accessories, and evolutions. Now, at the end of its latest Steam update, developer Ponkel has made reference to the new version. Did you see any of the director's cut footage online, the update asks? That's something we've been doing in most events since TGS 2022, hiding some of the future content for the game in plain sight, but this time, it blew up online. While the actual menu screen might never appear in the game, all of the content shown in that version is scheduled to be fully developed and released in future free updates. The update also includes a brief trailer showing off some of the content from the director's cut, saying it's a sneak peek of a handful among the dozens of characters and weapons that are getting developed for 2023 and beyond. So very cool. I like it when devs are really like tongue-in-cheek with this kind of stuff, like, oh, a big content update for our game got leaked. Did you guys see that shit? It was pretty cool, right? Like, I love when developers can just like have fun with this kind of stuff. And Vampire Survivors has been known to be getting very constant content updates with a lot of new stuff added. How much content is included in this director's cut has yet to be seen. We don't know how many updates it's going to end up being down the road. But it said 2023 and beyond. So they plan on to keep updating this game well into next year, which is cool. Because
this feels like the kind of game
that
can update internally anyways. So
yeah, they could just update it forever, honestly. They could just keep adding new shit to it. From the brief trailer of the director's cut, there's several new characters in there. There's a little Olimar, like Pikmin looking dude in like a weird spacesuit with a ray gun. There's a full on Kamehameha. It kind of looks wild. I love Vampire Survivors, and Ryan's finally being indoctrinated into the camp, so he knows what I'm talking about. So any new content for this game, I am very much looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of games that I love, but also Matt loves, like a Dragon Gaiden. Am I right?
Yes. Is that the game with like the worst box art ever, or is that like the man who doesn't have like the man who forgot his name?
The man who erased his name. Yeah,
and it's just like a render of Kiryu in a suit with like the worst looking background of all time.
Yeah, just Kiryu silhouetted against a white background of nothing.
I keep seeing Wario 64 share that game like with its box art whenever he tweets about it. I'm like, my God, this looks awful.
It's not even getting a physical release. It's a digital only thing too. Sega, what are you doing?
Just shoot me. So yeah, there was a big new overview trailer that came out for Gaiden last week, showing off a lot of the new features, systems, a lot of gameplay. But the big news of merit here is that Gaiden will include a playable demo of Yakuza 8. So let's read. Ryuga Gotoku Studio has published a new overview trailer and developer update for Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name. That's a fucking title, am I right?
Yeah. Japanese ass title. Light novel ass title.
Publisher
358 over 2 days.
Yeah, Yakuza 358 days over 2.
From the Devil May Cry series.
Publisher Sega announced in June that the Yakuza spin-off will be released on November 9th, 2023 for basically everything other than Switch. And in today's video update, RGG studio director Masayoshi Yokoyama announced that the game will include a demo of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, otherwise known as Yakuza 8, which is coming to the same platforms in 2024. We were planning to save more detailed information about the game until just before launch, but we really wanted to respond to your excitement. Therefore, we decided to bring you a more in-depth look at the story and gameplay. Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name tells the story of Kazuma Kiryu. It's the fucking 8th game to do so, but okay. Who chose to fake his death and disappear from the public eye to protect his loved ones. For fans who have enjoyed the series since Yakuza Like a Dragon, this title will provide the best insight into the personality of Kazuma Kiryu. How will his story unfold as he fights against his enemies? Please enjoy the battle action and experience it for yourself.
Probably the same way it has the last 7 games by him beating the shit out of everybody.
I don't like that they're bringing Kiryu back.
I'm mixed on it. Personally, I think there was a report that came out. I don't know if it came out today, but it's something I read today.
It was planned.
It's been planned since before the release of 6, which was touted as the end. So they had zero plans and ever get this fucker.
I don't know. I prefer when stories let their main characters go and bring in a new one when it is appropriate. Just let this be Ichiban's series now.
Yeah, I do. However, I do know 6's ending is divisive among fans. A lot of people don't like it. Fuck it. I think it's good. I thought it was a solid.
I fucking love the ending of 6. Like it's such a great like finale.
It's
for
a great,
Kiryu
tragically bittersweet ending for Kiryu. And that's also very fitting for the character too. That being said, if we're gonna get games like Gaiden, I don't care because the trailer that they showed was insane. It looks phenomenal. Phenomenal. All of the jank that was gone in Yakuza 6.
Yes.
With its Dragon engine.
Literally just gonna say
is gone. Now it's got Lost Judgment-esque combat. And it looks fucking great.
I'm so happy. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good to play.
Stupidest fucking thing I have ever seen. Kiryu's turned into Spider-Man and has cigarette bombs. that he could use to blow up entire armies of men.
M.I.L.Y,
It is
man, I love Yakuza.
it's so over the top. It's stupid, and I love it. And all the mini games they're bringing back is great. Pool is fucking back.
Bro,
We have
Pocket
again.
Circuit?
Pocket Circuit is back. The Cabaret is back. You got this cool new arena setting, which has multiple playable characters beyond Kiryu. If you got the pre-order, you can play as Majima and Saejima and Daigo.
Daigo's the big one. I'm like, man, Daigo's never been playable.
Daigo. You got a bunch of other stuff, and of course, they had a story trailer. They had a actually pretty extensive story trailer, and it looks really good. Like, the story looks really strong.
Listen, all I'm saying is that it's going to be so great to finally play a Dragon Engine game as Kiryu with combat that doesn't suck pure ass.
Exactly, that's the thing. Like, fucking remember Kiwami 2?
Kiwami 2's combat sucks.
Like the one of the best stories of the entire series, and then you actually play it, and it's like, why does Kiryu have like 2 attacks? And
why does Kiryu feel like a marionette puppet? Like he's just wobbling all over the place.
Why does it when I like throw somebody, they don't go in the direction I actually want, instead they go up and over me?
Physics be damned.
Physics don't work. I'm excited though, like, it looks great. And I'm excited for that demo because they did also say that the scene that the demo is going to have scenes exclusive to it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that cool. It's not entirely it's not entirely from Like a Dragon 8. It's a lot of it is original stuff.
Do you guys remember when demos used to be like that? They used to be like their own separate thing, and they were just like a prologue or something to the actual game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, now most demos are just, let's take the first chapter and
like the prologue of the game, and just the first 2 hours.
Or demos are like, here's the full game, but you have a set amount of time you can play it, so you can play it like for like 2 or 3 hours, and
that's just early access.
Pretty much.
That's just early access.
It would be awesome if like a speed runner could get to the end of it. Like if they actually did put the full game in a demo, but a speed runner could figure out a way to beat it in like half an hour through the demo.
So, that would be that. You know what? That actually is kind of based. That's kind of based, actually. I would totally love to see that. But yeah, but I'm excited. But I'm glad they're doing that for Like a Dragon 8. One, it won't spoil anything from it, which I'm really glad for. And second, it might actually do a really good job of getting us like introduced to like the Kiryu and Ichiban dynamic, because they clearly have a rapport in the stuff that they've shown, and I want to see how they play off each other. Because them being that's a weird ass duo. That's a weird fucking duo. I maybe understand why the demo is like probably like an original scene, because if reports are true, Like a Dragon 8 is reportedly like twice the size of Yakuza 5.
Oh god.
So it's ginormous.
No. 200 hours, here we come.
A massive game. So probably they're doing that because whatever it's in the actual game, they can't fit onto like a fucking demo. So I'm excited, but yeah, Gaiden comes out in November. And
we will be there day one.
We will be playing. we will be playing. I'm very excited. Shucks, it's not a physical release though. That
really sucks, but oh well. Moving on to other things that blow. Metal Gear Solid, the Master Collection's coming out in a little bit, and Konami confirmed some specs for the different versions, and people are not happy about that, but let's read.
I heard about this.
Konami has confirmed its target resolutions for each version of the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. Hands-on previews for the compilation were published earlier this week, and confusion arose over what display resolution each platform was using. Konami has now confirmed to VGC that the game will render at each of the following resolutions: All platforms bar the Switch, 1080p 60 frames. Switch in docked mode, 1080p 30 frames. Switch in handheld mode, 720p 30 frames. In VGC's Metal Gear Solid Master Collection hands-on preview, our writer said the compilations version of the first Metal Gear Solid arrives virtually unchanged, as this is an emulated version of the 1998 game, lacking widescreen display or up-resing, which may come as a disappointment for players hoping to play MGS1 on their 4K TVs. Volume 1 of the collection releases October 24th for everything: PC, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. This has started a lot of controversy because the Switch version of the game runs worse than it did on a PS2. The PS2 versions of MGS2 and 3 ran at 60 frames. The Switch is only at 30. Why?
Well, there's the Konami. There's the Konami we know. There they are. I was wondering what happened to them.
And also the fact that the current gen consoles like the Xbox and the PlayStation can't render PS2 games at 4K. What are we doing here, Konami? Like, what's going on?
Being Konami. That's what's happening.
Pretty much, yeah. What do you guys think about this?
I mean, I'm hoping for a potential performance patch because, like, collections have done shit like that before. And again, there's no reason that these can't run at 60 FPS on, like, Nintendo Switch. Because, like, Switch has the definitive version of Devil May Cry 3, and that's also a PS2 game. So it's like there's absolutely zero reason these can't run that way on Switch.
MGS1 is a PS1 game. Why is it running at 30 frames? Why is it running at 30 frames a second? There's no reason.
Did the PS1 game run at 60 frames per second?
No, it didn't.
Okay. I was going to say, did 60 FPS even exist back then?
It did. There are some PS1 games that run at 60. There's a couple. But, MGS1 was not one of them.
MGS1 was pushing the PS1 hardware, to be fair.
Yes, it was. It absolutely was.
So, like, I will give it that. It did. There's reasons as to why it was not.
But it's very weird that the Nintendo Switch, which I know the meta is, Switch underpowered. It's basically on par with the PS4 in terms of power, and it can't run the PS2 game at more than 30 frames. Huh?
This sounds like Konami just being really stupid. This just really reeks of just like
it's just
bizarre decisions.
It's just lazy optimization, which is weird because the Switch version is probably going to be one of the better selling versions.
It's going to be the one that sells the most, you know damn well. Maybe not so much after this.
Maybe I would say the PlayStation collection might sell best.
PlayStation, Metal Gear's always been a big PS.
I would say Switch and PlayStation would be like the top sellers for this.
Most likely, yes. And I mean, I'm hoping they patch it because I probably plan to get the Switch version anyway, simply because I want to have them portable. Which it's just the way I like them. So, I mean, who knows? I hope they patch it. Because Konami has actually done really well with their collections for the most part. Yeah. Like the Castlevania and Contra collections are really good.
Yeah, so it'd be a real shame if the Metal Gear is the one that they eventually trip up on. But then again, it's Metal Gear. They've been tripping up on this for the last decade. So
yeah,
I just want to know whatever the fuck they're doing with those Suikoden remasters. I want to hear more from those already.
They are vaporware. They're dead. No, I don't know what the fuck they're
dead. Yeah, they're definitely not dead. They've shown off like several things in like trailers and screenshots from that game. So
all fabricated, like the moon landing. It's all fake, Ryan.
Yeah. It was all made by Stanley Kubrick, who's not dead. He's just in stasis.
He's just in cryosleep.
Do not believe the media.
You've heard of Bush did 9/11. Now Kojima did Suikoden.
Let's move on, shall we?
Oh God.
Okay, now we're getting into some delay stories. Two games that we've known about for a long time that have gotten several delays for good reason. The first, of course, being Stalker 2, which was apparently planned to come out this year, but has now been pushed to early 2024 after a new trailer confirmed it, as well as our upcoming Cyberpunk platformer Replaced, which also got delayed into 2024. Not much to talk about here. This was kind of expected.
Wasn't Stalker 2 originally like delayed indefinitely because of the Ukraine war or something? I remember.
Same with Replaced because Replaced developer is also Ukraine based. So that's why I knew both of these together because they both got delayed for the same reasons.
Yeah, because I remember hearing about Stalker 2 around the same time because Advance Wars went through the same thing. Because Advance Wars essentially got delayed a whole year because of the Advance Wars
got delayed not because it was a Ukraine-based developer, but because they were like, this might be in bad taste.
This might be in poor taste.
Weird, which is weird.
Call of Duty, on the other hand, nope, let's go ahead because we can.
Yeah, like which is a little weird because it's like, isn't there like other wars that were happening? Whatever, like
whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
So yeah, Stalker 2 got delayed into first quarter, and Replaced got pushed just into 2024 in general. No real release window for that. I tossed both of these together because, like Ryan said, both of these were delayed because of the ongoing war in Ukraine. Both Ukraine-based developers. I didn't realize that both of these were still planning to be released this year. I honestly thought they were both just aiming for 2024 in general, but now we both got official. We got official delays for both.
Stalker 2 has been in development for a very long time.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought Stalker 2 was just in limbo. I didn't even know it was planned for this year.
I actually thought that it was because at this point, I've been seeing trailers of Stalker 2 for years. I've been hearing talks about them doing that game for a decade. I just thought that it was in that. I was willing to call it in vaporware mode, frankly. Actually, I was willing to call it I don't think this game is ever coming out, but no, it seems like that they have plans for it to come out finally. Will it live up to it's got a massive amount of hype behind it. It's gonna have to really work to live up to that, I think, because of how long it's been in development, frankly.
Yeah, weren't they gonna do something with NFTs in that game, but it got so much backlash they canceled it, and that pushed the game back even farther. I don't know if it was Stalker,
but it was another Russian Ukraine based game that was trying to do that. I don't know if it was Stalker. It might have been.
Right?
I could have sworn it was.
Remember that?
They're still around, but nobody gives a shit about them anymore.
Square Enix is still trying to do them.
They sold off all their Western developers for that sweet, sweet crypto.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
Let's go. We don't need Tomb Raider or Deus Ex. We just need that cold, hard JPEG cash.
We need that JPEG cash that doesn't work properly.
And also is a huge scam, and also is horrible for the environment. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Our third delay announcement, which this is purely, this is also for me, but this is mostly for Matt because I know he loves the predecessor to this game. Sorry, Matt. Hyper Light Breaker got delayed to next year.
Hyper Light Drifter, yeah.
Oh. Fuck.
Has been delayed into 2024. Sucks to suck, Matt.
It does. I love Hyper Light Drifter so much. That game is one of
his favorite games.
I don't know if it's one of my favorite games, but it's one of the better indie games of the 2010s. I think it's one of the ones that really captivated me. I love the atmosphere. I love the art style. I love the soundtrack is insane. I like the fact that it has this really interesting it's. The vibes of it are really weirdly melancholic, and I found that really interesting. Just the aesthetic and the tone of it was really good to me. I have not played Solar Ash, but I've heard it's great. I need to play that.
I still need to play Solar Ash.
It's on I have it on Epic. I'll play it too at some point.
Yeah, and don't worry, Matt. I'm feeling delay pain as well because Eiyuden Chronicle got delayed to next year. I want that game so bad.
I heard about that. But yeah, it sucks. Hyper Light Breaker looks fantastic, and I'm just, you know what? Let them have more time. Let them work on the game. Let them cook. Let them cook. I'm very curious to see how like a 3D version of Hyper Light Drifter plays though, because Hyper Light Drifter was a game very much made for a top-down like 2D view.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how they're gonna adapt that.
Let's move on. Then we get into our Gamescom medley of announcements, which just gonna real quick lightning round.
Let's do these. Is a lot
because we've got 6 big ones. The ones of note. Modern Warfare 3 was announced a few days before the show. It was officially confirmed for a November 10th release, so that's coming out this year. Who could have seen that coming? Tekken 8 officially got in a release date. January 26, 2024 is when that game is coming out. A new Alan Wake 2 trailer was shown. It finally shows actual gameplay of Alan Wake. Who would have seen that coming? And they also confirmed they pushed the release date back a week from October 20th to October 27th. They do not want to catch shade from Spider-Man 2. So
just get it. Yeah. Understandable.
Just get out of there. Just get out of there.
But that week, it's like Spider-Man 2, Mario Wonder, and Sonic Superstars in the span of like 3 days.
Jesus, the wallets.
Sonic Superstars got its official release date October 17th, which was leaked a while ago, but it's now officially confirmed. The final Horizon update for Frontiers also got shown off. That got a release date September 28th, which is way sooner than I think anyone expected that to come out.
Comes out in a month. I'm so excited for that.
Nightingale's early access got delayed to early next year. If you're not aware, this is the survival game that's being made by Inflection Games, which is a group of developers that came from BioWare and made their own studio. So it's a bunch of former BioWare devs on this game. That's coming out early next year now. Marvel Snap is on Steam now. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, hell fuck yes. And that trailer they showed was really sick. Trailer they showed was sick.
Someone who's not into card games, play Marvel Snap. It's pretty rad.
I thought you guys were memeing. I thought you were like,
no, it's really good.
Marvel Snap is great.
It's straight up real good. Actually.
Genuinely addicting stuff. And the trailer, the trailer has nothing to do with the game, but check out the trailer.
That trailer
which is
was
like
fucking
It's
wild.
like a Deadpool, Ghost Rider, and Squirrel Girl little animation that it's like anime styled and it's super sick. It looks like Rise of the TMNT actually, now that I think about it.
It's probably Titmouse who did it actually, now that I think about it.
And it looks sick, and it was sick as hell. It's like a minute and a half. It's like really short. So go check out that trailer just for like the cool animation.
No, but the actual game itself is really good too. Go play Marvel Snap.
Yeah, the game itself is really fun. And I don't like card games either, and I fucking love it. That should tell you everything you need to know, frankly.
And the big reveal, I think, from Opening Night Live, Little Nightmares 3 was officially announced. No release window, but it's probably going to come out sometime next year. And it alludes to 2-player co-op, which is very cool. So yeah, that's basically a blitz through Gamescom. I honestly thought the show overall was pretty okay. Jeff set expectations properly because he was like, it's not going to be like big world-shattering announcements. It's mostly stuff we've already known about. And he was adding on to that. And that's pretty much what it was.
He was right. I have Little Nightmares 3, which I saw that. I was like, oh shit. that's a nice.
Which I appreciate from Jeff because usually he overhypes his events to shit. So it's like,
it's because he's saving the big stuff for the Game Awards. Because that's actually his event, not Gamescom.
Clearly, that dude didn't get the memo because GTA 6 was not at the show.
That was great.
Where's the security at these at Jeff Keighley's event?
Do y'all remember when Bill Clinton Kid walked up on stage at the Game Awards and afterwards Jeff was like, "Yeah, for all future events, we are heavily upping security," and then this shit happens immediately.
And then doing an Austin 316 shirt just walks.
At this point, I'm fully expecting the Game Awards to have a bit about this. That's what's going to happen.
They're going to have a fucking SWAT team.
Someone is going to try this at the Game Awards in a few months. I guarantee you now. Someone is going to attempt it.
It's one of those things where, like, yeah, after the fact, we all laugh and meme about it, but like, when that actually happened live, you can see like the visible uncomfort on Jeff's face as this dude's just like, GTA 6, GTA 6.
I was watching the Gamescom thing, and they brought on, because right after that was Starfield, and they brought on Todd Howard. Todd Howard looked fucking pale as shit. He did not want to be there anymore. Like, he looked nervous to be there at that point, and I totally get it, because random people coming on stage just to yell shit, that, like, what the fuck?
I mean, the fact that can happen at all, it's just like, how terrible is your security, Jeff? Like, honestly.
And then guess what? After the show, he also said, "Oh, we're gonna up security so this doesn't happen again." Sure enough,
will never
Bill Clinton's gonna come back at the Game Awards.
This will never be a problem. What does it say? This man will never be a problem again. It's like, what does Jeff?
Yeah,
what
the man who interrupted our show will not be hurting anyone ever again. I'm like, Jeff Keighley killed him, man.
Jeff Keighley, what does this mean? Is he dead?
Jeff Keighley had him drug out back and like shot behind the dumpster.
He went to go live on a farm with old.
He got old Yeller. That's what happened.
He got old Yeller.
Anyway, let's move on. Here's the Activision Blizzard story we're all waiting for. Yippee!
Yay!
So of course this is still going, and obviously Microsoft's still trying to get around the CMA, who's the only one left blocking the deal. So Microsoft, cheeky little bastards they are, decided that they are going to sell the streaming rights for Activision Blizzard games to another company to try and get around the CMA. The company in question, Ubisoft. So let's read. Microsoft has restructured its proposed Activision acquisition by agreeing to sell cloud streaming rights to publisher Ubisoft. The revised deal has been submitted to the UK regulator, the Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, in an effort to close the deal in the region. The CMA remains the last major roadblock to the deal closing. Microsoft had been attempting to get the CMA to revisit its original decision in April to block the deal, claiming that because the European Commission had approved it since then, and that because it had signed a binding agreement with Sony to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, the conditions had changed. However, in a statement today, the CMA said it had decided that Microsoft's submissions did not provide any basis for a change to the original prohibition decision, and that today it was imposing a final order which prohibits the original deal on a worldwide basis. Microsoft's announcement appears to be an attempt to get around this prohibition by addressing the CMA's main concern, which was that Microsoft would potentially dominate cloud gaming with Activision Blizzard titles in its portfolio. Today, we are taking another important step regarding this transaction, Microsoft said in a statement. To address the concerns about the impact of the proposed acquisition on cloud game streaming raised by the UK Competition and Markets Authority, we are restructuring the transaction to acquire a narrower set of rights. This includes executing an agreement effective at the closing of our merger that transfers the cloud streaming rights of all current and new Activision Blizzard PC and console games released over the next 15 years to Ubisoft Entertainment SA, a leading global game publisher. The rights will be in perpetuity. As a result of the agreement with Ubisoft, Microsoft believes its proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard presents a substantially different transaction under UK law than the transaction Microsoft submitted for the CMA's consideration in 2022. As such, Microsoft today has notified the restructured transaction to the CMA and anticipates that the CMA review processes can be completed before the 90-day extension in its acquisition agreement with Activision Blizzard that expires on October 18th. It's going to happen. Like, it's just a matter of time, guys.
They did exactly what I thought they would do because this was the last person standing. They were going to be the hardest ones to convince, and I was right because they also still blocked it. So they're like, "Okay, we'll split it up now." Because that's what their big issue was. We'll split it up now, and that's what they're doing. So everything I thought they would do, they're doing because that's how this shit works. Which means it's probably going to go through, albeit split up, and they're not going to have everything they initially wanted because of the CMA.
Yeah. So Ubisoft's getting a big piece of the pie, I guess, then.
I mean, if they got the streaming, if they got like the cloud rights, that's pretty.
Yeah, that's pretty massive.
That's big.
Big. Hello, Belgo.
For 15 years too, like that's a chunky. That's like two gaming generations.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah,
that's chunky.
Yeah. That's a big boy. And I guess I should go into our conjoining story to go along with this, because they signed that 10-year deal with Nvidia to bring their games to GeForce Now for PC streaming. GeForce Now has its first selection of Game Pass titles being added to their service. They got 19 Xbox games on GeForce Now. So we're seeing shit from this deal starting to come to fruition. So it's only a matter of time before it goes through. It's only a matter of time, guys.
And then we don't have to talk about it anymore.
And then I can die in peace. I can finally die.
You can pass away peacefully.
I can die a happy man when we don't have to cover an Activision Blizzard story on this podcast ever again. I can't wait. But yeah, so that's our obligatory Activision Blizzard story for the week. Let's move on to something. Matt's going to have a lot to say about this, because Matt is a big fan of BioWare. And if you've been following the news with BioWare lately, you'll know BioWare is doing some shit, such as laying off employees. So let's read. Dragon Age and Mass Effect studio BioWare has announced plans to lay off approximately 50 of its employees. In a blog post, BioWare general manager Gary McKay said reorganizing its teams was necessary as the Electronic Arts studio rethinks its approach to development. In order to meet the needs of our upcoming projects, continue to hold ourselves to the highest quality possible, and ensure BioWare can continue to thrive in an industry that's rapidly evolving, we must shift towards a more agile and more focused studio. It will allow our developers to iterate quickly, unlock more creativity, and form a clear vision of what we're building before development ramps up. He added, after much consideration and careful planning, we have built a long-term vision that will preserve the health of the studio and better enable us to do what we do best, create exceptional story-driven single-player experiences filled with vast worlds and rich characters. This vision balances the current needs of the studio, namely ensuring Dragon Age Dreadwolf is an outstanding game, with its future, including the success of the next Mass Effect.
That which is the big one. That's the biggie.
So what do you think, Matt?
Well, for one, so on a business, let's break this down, because they laid off 50 employees. BioWare as a company has never actually been that big. The most they've had is 250, which is what they used to have prior to this layoff. They now around 200. So they laid off 50 of their staff. We didn't know who they laid off initially. So it was just like, okay, they're just laying off random people. They're just kind of like consolidating. No, all the people they pumped off were veteran, long-time employees, the highest paid people, including, I forget his name, but his first name is, I forget his, I can't pronounce his last name, but Lucas something, who has been on the team since BG1 and was the creator of Minsk and Boo. He got laid off. And he was also a major writer on KOTOR, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Jade Empire, all their stuff. He was called in the realms of BioWare as the old story guy. He was the guy you went to when you actually wanted to write, because he was like legendary in the studio, and he got laid off. He got kicked. One of the lead creators of Dragon Age, I forget, Mary Gill, I think is her name, got kicked. As well. She got kicked out the project. She is apparently still going to be credited on Dreadwolf because she did enough work on it that she's on it. But she's out of BioWare now as well. And this also comes with Mac Walters, the director of Dreadwolf, who left earlier this year. Which means that Dreadwolf is now on We don't know who's directing it, but it's now on its 4th director. The game has also been was supposed to come out as early as the end of this year, has now been delayed to summer of next year at the earliest, and very likely late 2025. More than likely.
This is the joining story that I got with this, because you are correct. Because of all of these shifts in development staff, Dreadwolf keeps getting delayed internally. So the VGC article I picked out said that it's most likely going to be 2025 at the earliest before this game actually comes out because of all of this.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Dreadwolf now has one of the most tumultuous development cycles of any game in the modern era. It's insane.
BioWare honestly just seems like it's in shambles, truth be told.
They're completely getting restructured. It's what's happening.
If Dreadwolf is not a mega hit, I think they're done. I think they get shuttered. My
opinion is this: I don't think they'll get shuttered. They'll stay long enough just to get another Mass Effect game.
They'll get the new Mass Effect out,
because they do have one in development, right?
They do, because that's also that's their big moneymaker. And if it's a Shepard-focused game, like the rumors are saying, that's gonna sell like gangbusters.
I don't know how it would be after Mass Effect 3.
Fucking whatever. I mean, like they'll find a way. Money always finds a way. And it'll work. It'll sell like fucking millions of copies. It'll be a big hit.
I mean, Dragon Age seems to. I said Dragon Quest. Dragon Age seems to make a lot of money as well, though.
Mm-hmm. I do think now the little bit we have seen of Dreadwolf gameplay wise, there was a bit of people remember some little bit was leaked. It looks good. They changed gameplay styles. It's like a third person action RPG now.
It's God of War.
It's God of War, basically, yeah. God of War, but it looks good. And I like this definitely seems like it's that if they're consolidating, this seems like an all hands on deck situation more so than anything. That's what I've thought it was. It's like, it seems like that what they're doing is like, okay, Anthem sucked hard and bombed hard. We're gonna consolidate. We're going to get everyone onto this one game, and this is literally all you're working on until it's good. Which could backfire if it ends up not being good. But if they're taking their time with it, and if it does, like 2025 at the earliest this is coming out, I hope that this is worth it. I don't like that they dumped a bunch of longtime employees, though. That puts a bad taste in my fucking mouth.
Yeah. Honestly, BioWare just needs a big win, because I honestly can't remember the last, big W they really
had. Inquisition, really. Inquisition.
Yeah, which even then, didn't a lot of people not like that game? Because I know people say it's one of the most undeserving Game of the Year wins. I always hear people.
I don't understand why people don't like it. I loved Inquisition. I thought it was great.
Yeah, and that was 9 years.
Yeah. I think most people. I think people, whether or not you like it, come down to whether or not you think the writing is strong. I thought the writing was really strong. Because at least in my experience, there was no real arguing over how good the gameplay was. People liked playing it. So
yeah.
So in the end, it just comes down to story preference, which is much more of a subjective thing, I find usually. But it was a win financially for sure. It sold like hotcakes, so it didn't matter. In the end, honestly, Dreadwolf doesn't even need to be a huge critical hit like Inquisition was. It needs to be at least a financial hit. A financial hit. I'm hoping it's good. I'm still hoping it's good after all this time. BioWare is looking mostly rough. I blame EA, because EA has been doing layoffs out of all of their subsidiaries. BioWare was not the only one they did this to. So it sounds like that this is just an EA-wide company thing, and then EA was like, lay off employees, lay off some people, lay off these people. And they're like, why? Just do it. Money. Save money.
Get them out of here. We don't need them. We just need more money.
So this is definitely an EA decision, I feel like. Which makes sense because it's EA and they're bad and
EA
stupid
should
and
be
stinky.
loaded into a cannon and shot into the sun.
It sucks. I hate them laying off like long time people like that. Personally,
It's funny though how Activision has almost kind of pried a lot of the hate off of EA in like recent years. Where like Activision is
so happy about that. They're just like, oh, thank God, we're not the most hated game company in America anymore.
Yeah. And because EA has gotten a few more wins in the past few years than they did. Like they've had the Star Wars Jedi games, which have both been very good. They've helped put out some indies that have been very good.
They're really pushing single player again, which is nice.
Yeah,
they made a good Need for Speed game.
I think that's what gives me some hope for Dreadwolf, because they
Dead
said
Space remake was great.
Yeah, that's what does actually give me some faith for Dreadwolf, that they're like, okay, we're consolidating. It's all hands on deck at BioWare for this. It's just no multiplayer at all. No like multiplayer thing, just a single player RPG thing that they're doing, which is great. Yeah. That's what they need. So that's what gives me some hope that Dreadwolf probably turns out great. Even if it doesn't, I think even if it doesn't, Mass Effect will pick up the slack. That game is probably gonna be good. I don't know. That game is, especially since after this game they're dumping the Frostbite engine. Thank fucking Christ for that.
Oh, nice.
That was partly the issues with what they would. That's partly the issues at BioWare because EA, if you remember back in the 2010s. Forced all of their studios to work on the Frostbite engine because that was their big new engine. And Frostbite, though, was not made for RPGs or shooters. It was made for sports games and big open world stuff.
Yep.
The only engine that can do everything is the RE engine.
That is true.
That can do anything apparently. But yeah, and also the Frostbite engine was notoriously badly optimized. It was hard to work with. It was really clunky. And that's why Andromeda was kind of a mess in development, because you had a bunch of new developers who used to either Unreal 3 or or just brand new to the studio, working with a Frostbite 3, not knowing how the fuck this works and trying to transfer Mass Effect to Frostbite. And Mass Effect doesn't fucking work on Frostbite. Like, the fact that they even got it to work at all, I think is kind of a miracle, considering that like it literally was not made to work on Frostbite. But yeah, so like Dreadwolf is the final game they're doing on Frostbite. And then when the next Mass Effect comes out, it's going to be on Unreal 5, I think. It's going to be on Unreal again. Which thank fuck for that. I can't wait for it to blow up my computer because my PCs don't like Unreal, but yeah, that's my thoughts on this. Dreadwolf, please be good. If it's not, I'm killing myself.
You heard it here first, folks. It'll happen live on the podcast.
I'm dying.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. We got a couple more stories. We got 3 stories left, so hang tight, boys. We're almost there. Starting with our good friends at Xbox. The Xbox 360 store is closing next summer. So let's read. Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Oh, shit.
Microsoft has announced that it will be closing down the Xbox 360 store next year. In a new post on the official Xbox Wire blog, it was announced that the ability to buy new games, DLC, and other entertainment content from the Xbox 360 store will end on July 29th, 2024. This specifically refers to the ability to buy content directly through the Xbox 360 console and the ability to buy content from the Xbox 360 Marketplace website. It does not affect the ability to buy backwards compatible games and DLC on the Xbox One or Series stores, which will continue to be available. Microsoft stresses that while the 360 store will close on July 29th of next year, players using their 360 consoles after this date will still be able to use all of their previously purchased Xbox 360 games and DLC. It also notes that if players have deleted a game they have purchased, they will still be able to re-download it. Players will still be able to play these games online as long as their servers are still supported by the publisher. and can still save their game progress to the cloud. So it was only a matter of time. The Wii U and 3DS eShops are no more. They've tried to close the PS3 shop multiple times, but they keep backpedaling on that. Now the 360 store is officially coming down. Whether or not they will backpedal on that by the time we get to July next year, who knows? I think people just got to come to terms that these marketplaces are not going to last forever, and they will eventually close one day.
Yeah, I do agree with people, like, they need to port a lot of their shit more to keep preservation alive, but I feel like a lot of us need to kind of accept the reality too that, like, they can't keep these open forever, especially when they're so old and no one was using them. Like, as much as I hated seeing them close down, who honest the fuck was using the 3DS and Wii U eShops before they were announced to be shuttering? Honestly.
Nobody was using the Wii U.
No, nobody was. So it's like, of course they're going to shut them down if nobody's using them.
The waste of money.
Yeah, and
exactly.
To give Microsoft credit, they did a great job with their back compat program. They did bring a lot of these games over to the new generation. They're readily available to purchase and play on new Xbox systems. But not all of them are. There's still a good amount of games that are stuck on the 360 that once the store goes down, those games are going to be gone forever unless you can track down physical copies. And if you're a digital-only game, good luck, brother.
Yeah, you're done. You're done if that's the case.
Yeah. But yeah, this is just an inevitability at this point, and I think, obviously this comes back to the ongoing discussion we've had about game preservation several times on the show over the last few months, but no matter how hard we fight for game preservation, eventually this stuff is going to be lost to time sooner rather than later for the most part. And it's sad because there's a lot of great 360 games that are going to be stuck on that marketplace that are just going to be gone forever. And it's tragic, but like, what else can we fucking do at this point? Emulate your goddamn games.
Emulate your games. Emulate your systems.
Emulate your mom.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Okay, Shane?
No, I'm not.
Man broke himself.
It's okay, Shane. It's okay. It happens to the best of us.
How about you emulate some bitches?
How about you emulate these nuts in your mouth, bro? Anyway. I hate it here. Let's move on. We're gonna have a laugh about this one.
Oh no!
What is the meme story of the night?
Oh, you could call it that. That's one way to go about it. Because we're talking about the PSP, boys, and not the PlayStation Portable. We're talking about the PlayStation Portal.
He thinks he's him.
He really thinks he's him. Man thinks he's him.
Blood thinks he's on the team.
Sony has announced more details on its remote play handheld device, which has now been named the PlayStation Portal. They knew exactly what they were fucking doing with that name. Formerly known as Project Q, the device looks like a DualSense controller with an 8-inch LCD screen in the middle of it. According to Sony, the screen is capable of 1080p resolution at 60 frames per second. The PlayStation Portal will cost $200 American when it launches later this year, but while it looks like a traditional gaming handheld, it can seemingly only stream games from a PS5 console. PlayStation Portal is the perfect device for gamers and households who may want to share their living room TV or simply want to play PS5 games in another room of the house. PlayStation Portal, this is Wii U all over again. PlayStation Portal will connect remotely to your PS5 over Wi-Fi, so you'll be able to swiftly jump from playing on your PS5 to your PlayStation Portal. PlayStation Portal can play supported games that are installed on your PS5 console and use the DualSense controller. The description confirms that the PlayStation Portal is solely a remote play device and will not provide access to cloud streaming of games on PlayStation Plus Premium. As such, players will still need to own a PS5 for the PlayStation Portal to work as intended.
Okay. This reminds me. You'll remember the PlayStation Move. When they had the fucking wand, and it came out like almost a decade after the Wii, and it was like
no, not a decade.
It was a while after the Wii, though.
It was
like
2010. It was like 4 years later, dude.
It was like 14. It was like 4 years after the Wii or whatever. But like it was clearly pitched like the Wii made a lot of money. It was clearly pitched like a month after the Wii came out. I was like, yo, we need to get on this shit.
Yeah.
That this fucking thing was pitched when the Wii U came out. And it took, or it was pitched maybe a couple years after the Wii U came out. I was like, hey, well, you know what they're doing? Let's do that, but better.
But why would they make it now? Because the Wii U bombed. Because
one executive really wanted this to come out.
Because Sony's stupid, Ryan. We know this.
Yeah, to me, I don't even think this is them trying to copy Nintendo. I legit think this is just a stupid idea on their part.
This is them trying to copy like the GeForce Cloud,
Switch without putting in the effort.
The GeForce Cloud or like the Razer Kishi or any of those like cloud portables but without the cloud part. So without the cloud point?
It's literally just a $200 optional Wii U gamepad. Like there's no purpose to this thing.
Literally, and like okay, let's go through this. So it is purely a remote play device. So it needs a PS5 in order to work. It does not have Bluetooth capabilities. They're releasing a slew of new audio options that only work with this thing, a new headset and a pair of earbuds, and there's no cloud streaming. Who the fuck is this for?
It's for people who only own a PS5.
It's the same price as a Switch Lite. Why would you not just buy that instead?
And also, I have the picture of this thing on screen. This thing is ungodly ugly. This thing is
It looks like a fake leak. It looks like a fake leak.
It looks like one of those like trademark leaks that came out like 2 years ago, but this is the official design. They didn't change it.
They're like, you know what? It looks like shit. Ship it out.
It's that GameCube controller with a keyboard in the middle, but instead it's a PS5 controller with an iPad in the middle.
It's literally they just broke a DualSense in half and put a Samsung tablet between it.
Like literally. It's so stupid.
This is this dumbest shit I've ever
No one
seen.
will buy this. Total the first peripheral to have zero copies.
Anyone who buys this, you're gay.
God, this new PlayStation and Xbox generation has been low key ass so far.
I hate it here, dude.
It was a bunch of a bunch of executives on both sides just being like making the worst decisions imaginable. It's like who wants any of this stuff?
And then Valve came out here with the Steam Deck and made the greatest thing known to man, just to shit on everyone else.
Yeah, this reeks of Sony wanting to make another handheld, but they know they would get ass clapped by the Switch, so they didn't commit to it.
Yeah.
This is why I said they know what they're doing with their name. They know what they're doing with that name.
Oh yeah,
call it the PSP again. Like,
and dumb parents will buy it for their kid, and then when they realize it doesn't work, the kid will ask for a PS5. Because it has to have PS5
God.
to work.
Rip to the poor parents rip to the poor parents and grandparents who buy this for kids who don't have a PS5.
That's gonna happen, dude.
It's gonna happen.
Like the unsuspecting parents are gonna buy this thinking it's an actual handheld, and then when it doesn't work, they're gonna be like, "Huh?" And then they have to go out and buy a $500 PS5.
The whole thing together costs you like $600 to $700, not including tax.
Well, okay,
who honestly wants this?
Think about it. We'll go off USD. We'll go off USD MSRP. So, $500 for a PS5 disc, $400 if you want digital, $200 for the portal, and additional
so $600 to $700.
An additional if you want the headset or the earbuds, that's an extra $150 to $200 on top of that as well. So this could actually cost you upwards of $1,000.
Just you buy a PC at that point, or a Steam Deck.
and if you include like the VR too,
and the VR, and not including and games too, and also the games,
and also
because that's just without games, and the games are like $80, $80.
Actually,
$60.
You know what? You can
see, that's the thing. That's the thing, though.
And then you can just go from there.
But no, Matt, see, that's where you're wrong. You're working under the assumption that the PS5 has games, as we all know it.
The PS5 has no games.
I have a PS5, and I've liked some of the stuff I've played in it, but God, we're nearly 3 years in with this thing. It should have more games. Like, if you compare what this thing was 3 years in with the Switch, it's not even comparable.
It ain't even a contest, bro. Also, I want to talk. Okay, I want to talk about the audio peripherals, because that's the whole thing is just weird and fucking dumb. The fact that they're releasing a new headset and a new set of earbuds that only work with this thing and not the PS5. Sony, we need to have a talk.
It reeks of Apple getting rid of the earphone jack. Years
at
ago.
least you can use AirPods with any smartphone.
Yeah, or the new end that's like a charger instead of.
It's a way to get more money, because that's why they changed the ports and shit. Is so that way you have to buy their ports, which means they get money, and it's more money for them. It's fucking late stage capitalism.
You know what I just realized? Actually, I'm not 100% on this. I'm actually going to go through the article and see if I can find anything about it. I think they're actually releasing an adapter with the headset and earbuds that you can use on your PS5. That's like an additional $50, and it's just a little fucking USB dongle. Jesus Christ!
For money, it's all money shit. That's all it's for.
These consoles cost so much money with all their shit. It's ridiculous. It's so dumb.
The amount of peripherals on the PS5 has reminded me the amount of peripherals the fucking Genesis had back in the day. Remember, if you have all the peripherals for the Genesis, that thing looks like a monster.
That thing looks like a tumor.
At least the Genesis gave you new ways to play games with the 32X and the CD.
The 32X.
The 32X.
I'd buy a 32X or CD for the Genesis before I buy a PlayStation Portal.
That's just unironically. That's fair enough.
Fair enough. At the same time, it's very funny how we're making the same mistakes we did back in the 90s with the thousands of peripherals.
History repeats itself.
Time is a flat fucking.
We have learned nothing as a society.
Well, this is how the console makers always are. When they have a success, they get overconfident, and make a bunch of stupid ass decisions that drop them to the bottom again. No, Wii to Wii U, PS2 to PS3, 360 to 1. It happens all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I want out. I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
I hate games. I hate
video games. Banter's canceled. This is the last
video
episode.
Games are bad.
Bye.
Well, what's that joke quote? Anime was a mistake. Video games are a mistake.
Video games were a mistake.
It's just Miyamoto. Video games were a mistake.
I do believe this is a insult to life itself.
Let's move on before I get more upset. Our last story of the day, which actually is pretty upsetting on its own, but it is with good reason. Arguably the biggest story of the last week or so. Charles Martinet, the man who brought Mario to life, is no longer voicing his iconic characters. He is now going to be taking a new role within Nintendo as Mario Ambassador. So let's read. Charles Martinet will no longer be voicing Mario, Nintendo has announced. In an official tweet, the company stated that Martinet, who has voiced the mascot for over 25 years, will be stepping down from voice acting duties and will instead be taking on a new role of Mario Ambassador. Charles Martinet has been the original voice of Mario in Nintendo games for a long time, as far back as Super Mario 64, the statement reads. Charles is now moving into a brand new role of Mario Ambassador. With this transition, he will be stepping back from recording character voices for our games, but he will continue to travel the world sharing the joy of Mario and interacting with you all. Nintendo later confirmed that Martinet will not voice any characters in the upcoming Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Character voice actors will be credited in the game's credits, so please wait for the game to be released, a spokesperson said. It has been an honor working with Charles to help bring Mario to life for so many years, and we want to thank and celebrate him. Please keep an eye out for a special video message from Shigeru Miyamoto and Charles himself, which will be posted at a future date. And I believe, yes, Charles posted on his Twitter, his tweet reads, "My new adventure begins. You are all number one in my heart. Woohoo!" Hashtag woohoo, sorry. So yeah, Charles Martinet is stepping back from voice acting. He is no longer going to be voicing any of his iconic characters, all the Mario brothers, including Wario and Waluigi. So all the people who were like, when the Wonder trailer came out and said, "Man, Mario sounds different in this game. Maybe it's not Charles." I laughed.
They were right.
They were right all along. I apologize. I hereby officially apologize to all those people live on Bearded Banter.
I will say though. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No.
I was just gonna say, little bit we have heard of that guy. Don't know who he is yet. He's doing a very good job. If that's what he's gonna sound like.
In fact, I didn't know. I thought it was Charles.
That's a testament to how good he's doing.
I thought it was Charles, so I was like,
going back to what I was saying, it was, I think originally it was Arlo I saw be the first person to, like, the first big person in the Nintendo community to come out and be like,
it was a few people.
I don't know if this is Charles or not, because I watched this video and he's like, it don't sound right to me. Maybe it's not Charles. And I was over here like, fuck you, Arlo. You have no idea what you're talking about. Shut up. And then here we are.
You are fucked. It's like, this is fucking Charles. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's just old. And yeah, it turns out Charles is old. He's not voice him anymore.
So he is officially stepping back from all of his voice acting duties. He now has the new title of Mario Ambassador, which I assume just means that he's going to go around to different conventions as like the spokesperson for the brand, basically.
That's a fake job. That's a fake job.
I'm hopeful that it was him choosing to step away and not that he was let go. I feel like that's what it would be, because I don't see Nintendo just dropping him for how big of a part of the series he has been. And if it is his choice, understandable. The man is nearly 70, so he more than likely just wants to retire, which totally fair.
Yeah, which I think it seems like he's stepping away like on his own volition. It seems that way, because he didn't say he's stepping away from voice acting entirely, just away from Mario.
Just away from the Nintendo roles.
Because he's still doing other voice acting work. Like obviously Mario is not the only thing he's voiced.
He
was recently in Dragon Ball Super.
He played Magenta in the Super.
Completely unrecognizable too. I didn't realize it was him until the credits.
And the fact that he still has a role within Nintendo tells me that like he is still like it was probably his choice. Like he more than likely has a job at Nintendo for life if he wants to, because of how much he has done for Mario.
And he's gonna get bank for like doing nothing. That's great.
He's getting great royalties for the rest of his life. Fun fact, because I looked this up prior, Martinet officially began working for Nintendo in 1991, where he started voicing Mario at video game trade shows, in which attendees would walk up to a TV screen displaying a 3D Mario head that was designed to move around the screen and hold full conversations with them. He also voiced Mario in an official game in 1992. He voiced him in the Super Mario Bros. Pinball arcade machine. So, as early as 92, he was voicing Mario. His first official video game role, like digital video game role as Mario, was in 1994, the CD version of Mario Teaches Typing, which I believe is like the grotesque CG Mario head.
That's the floating Mario head.
Yeah.
And then
I'm going to fly for you.
And then obviously the first role in like an official like mainline Mario game, 96, Mario 64, and he's been voicing him ever since.
Yeah.
So man's been voicing Mario if it also has a 5-year credit. So Mans has been voicing Mario in an official, in some way, shape, or form, in an official sense,
for 30 years
since 1991. 32 years.
Yeah,
Man,
that's a long ass time to voice a character.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, he was in his 30s when he started voicing Mario.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm really interested to see who is going to replace him, because like we already know somebody is in line, because it's not him in Wonder, so we already have a replacement.
They already confirmed that the trailer, it's not him in the trailer either, so this guy's already been recording lines for the game.
I feel like they're going to reveal who it is because they said they were going to do a video like later. They said in their.
Here's the thing in this article that trips me up, which is from the official update that Nintendo gave, confirming he's not. Charles isn't voicing the characters in Wonder. Character voice actors will be credited in the game's credits, so please wait for the game to be released. That makes me think that they're just not going to announce it at all until the game launches.
That's an interesting choice. Are they just not? Are they just like keeping it on the down low? Who it is?
Because I figured. Sorry.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just going to say, I figured what they were going to do is in that video, because they said in their Twitter announcement they were going to do a little, probably a little goodbye video with him and Shigeru Miyamoto at a later date.
Please keep an eye out for a special video message from Shigeru Miyamoto and Charles himself, which we will post at a future date.
Yeah, because I figured they would do that before Wonder, probably in September, and they would use that as both a goodbye to Charles and a welcoming in to the new guy.
Mm-hmm. And my question also,
kind of like how they did with Reggie when Reggie left, and then Doug Bowser came in, and then they introduced him in that first Nintendo Direct after the announcement. They brought Bowser in and introduced him.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the wording of that update where they're like, they'll be revealed in the credits, so please wait for the game to release. That makes me think that they just might keep it under wraps until the game launches. I don't know.
Spoiler alert: it's Chris Pratt.
It's Chris Pratt, baby. It all comes full circle.
Yeah. But whoever does it, again, he's doing such a good job. It's a similar situation of when I remember when Damon Mills took over for Chris Ayres as Frieza in Dragon Ball.
Kills it as Frieza.
Some people didn't even realize it was not Chris Ayres.
Exactly. He does such a good job emulating Chris Ayres.
I was one of those weird people that was the very the slightest little difference I could pick it out. I'm like, I don't think that's Chris Ayres, because Damon Mills does a great job as Frieza, but Frieza's it's a little less raspy and a little bit more high pitched. That's how I can
his Frieza's a little bit more maniacal,
his Frieza's a little more up there than Chris's, but it's very close. He is a really good replacement for him.
Yeah,
and that's the same way I feel about this new guy with Charles.
Because keep in mind, Charles voiced multiple characters, not just Mario. Multiple of which are also in Wonder, and Luigi's also in the Wonder trailer, and he has voice lines. So
my question is, are they getting an actor like Martinet again who voices all of them, or are they getting multiple people to voice?
That's the question. Yeah,
because Martinet being able to voice all of them, that's a very unique talent. It's very difficult.
Because you think about it, and all of their voices are different enough that you can tell they're different characters, but they all come from the same core. It's the same base.
He did really good with if you haven't heard him, go listen to WarioWare Gold. He fully voice acts Wario in that game, full sentences and actual dialogue. It's so good.
I also should mention before I forget, because there's a new WarioWare game that's also coming out this year. They also confirmed that Martinet will not be voicing Wario in that either. So
he's pretty much done effective immediately from that announcement.
Yeah, he's also the voice of all the babies too.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Well,
he's the voice of all the babies, so baby Mario, baby Luigi. Baby Wario. He does Mini Mario. He does all of them. So
I did not know he did the baby voices. That's fucking wild.
It'll be very interesting to see what they do here from now on. Mario really is.
Yeah, he's also voiced Bowser once. Can you guess which game he voiced Bowser in? It's 64.
That makes
Really?
sense.
He does all the laughs and all of the
He,
grunts and the sounds.
oh, he does that.
That's Martinet. That's Martinet. Which I think is that's really cool. I think that's really cool. I think Bowser's just like now random noises. I don't know who voices the who knows.
I don't think it's Martinet that does it now. But.
Yeah,
it's not.
It's just him going like that's one of the ones that's like a can stock sound.
His voice is a random crocodile they found in Australia.
Yeah. Bowser's voice now is just.
I mean, someone's clearly doing the voice because he has a distinct laugh that like that.
Let me check who actually voiced. I'm curious now. I'm checking this out.
Well,
of just
while you're doing that, so yeah, this was obviously the biggest story that dropped this week. All the respect in the world to Charles Martinet for sticking out as long as he did, voicing all those characters over all those years.
It's a dude called Kenny James.
Kenneth Wendell James. Kenneth Wendell James.
He has no Wikipedia page.
Bro, that's a dope-ass name, dude.
Yeah,
Kenny James, he was voiced by Scott Burns for a bit, too.
Kenneth James debuted with Strikers, and he has voiced Bowser regularly ever since Galaxy.
Cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, kudos to Martinet. I hope he enjoys a little bit of a more relaxed work environment now, being Mario ambassador, getting to travel around the world, go to different conventions, meet a bunch of fans. I hope nothing but the best in his future endeavors. And I think the last thing I should bring up before we wrap this up and close the story for good is that a lot of people on Twitter were obviously celebrating Martinet as a voice actor, and a lot of people brought up that his final voiced role in an official Nintendo product was in the Mario movie, and his final line was as Mario and Luigi's father. And his final line was, "These are my boys," and it's just such a fitting end for Martinet as the voice of these characters, for him to openly embrace them like that.
It does admittedly annoy me a little more, though, that he didn't voice them in the movies, because that would have been like the perfect way for him to go out on such a big stage.
I think the fact that he voices their father with that final line, and also he voices Jumpman in that movie too, I think that's more than fitting as a send-off.
Yeah, it's more than fitting, and also the Mario movie clearly also had other factors, like it was also an Illumination and Universal production. Who wanted big names attached, obviously. So
Sonic fans seeing Mario fans lose their main voice actor first time.
First time. Remember when Roger Craig Smith was almost
said he was leaving,
Sonic?
and then he came back a month later.
2 months later, he came back. I still don't know what that was all about.
I wouldn't be shocked if they saw if someone saw that because Roger Craig Smith's not in Prime, right?
It's a different actor for Prime. Mainly because that's a Canadian production, so they need
Canadian law. Canadian law required it.
I would not be shocked if someone saw Prime was recasting Smith and was like, Smith is not fucking Sonic anymore, because that tended to
I honestly think the whole Roger leaving the role was because he wasn't a fan of the voice direction they were giving him for Frontier. So I'm just gonna step out, and then they paid him more money to come back.
Well, Smith has been very vocal that he's not huge on how he was directed in Frontiers. So
because they basically just made him do Chris Redfield. I think with that said, that's the last story. I think we can wrap things up here, boys. A jolly good show once again for the banter crew.
Okay, Pops.
Okay. Thanks, man. You too. But yeah, great show once again. Thank you, boys, as always, for joining me for some more video game hijinks. Let's wrap things up here. Thank you very much for watching yet another episode of Beer Banter here on BGN. Make sure you subscribe, youtube.com/Bearded Gaming Network or at Bearded1BGN on YouTube for more great content like this, which happens every 2 weeks, and other good stuff that happens on the channel. Also, go follow me, the Bearded One, the guy who runs the place, over on Twitch, twitch.tv/The Bearded Gaming Network, where we stream every Tuesday and Thursday from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This week, we're back to Sonic Heroes. We're going to be wrapping that shit up. And also, stay tuned for a bonus stream that might be happening this week, because I might be getting a PS5 this week. So, on Friday, it depends on if it comes in or not. I pre-ordered the Spider-Man one. It's supposed to come out on Friday. Who knows if it'll actually show up on Friday or not. But if it does, I plan on doing a whole big PS5 stream where I'm going to unbox it and everything it comes with. I'm going to set it up. We're going to play some games. It's going to be a good time. So tune in for that. And also follow me over on Twitter at Bearded Gaming N, where I'm not really there anymore, but sometimes I am. So follow me for when I am. Shout out to my boys, my co-hosts, my G's, the squad, who are always here with me every 2 weeks. Go follow them. Follow Ryan, NCS Master, on Twitter at the NCS Master. He posts a whole bunch of video game memes and shit posts. Also, go subscribe to him on YouTube, youtube.com/the NCS Master, where he posts a bunch of great gaming essays and discussion videos and all that stuff. He hasn't posted a video lately because he's got a job now, so be patient.
I did post a video like a week ago of me and a buddy doing a podcast review of FF16. So
that's a more low-key video, though.
Yeah, I tried to get that out there, just to have something out there. I do have videos in mind that I want to make. It's just, again, the job is just...
Oh, don't worry. Yeah. You know the struggle now. Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the working world.
It sucks.
We hate it here.
Yeah,
I know.
But go follow him on his socials for all of that stuff. I saw that. Don't think I didn't. Also, go follow Matt Legion Rex on Twitter at Legion Rex, where he posts a whole bunch of opinions and thoughts on all different kinds of media. As well, follow him, subscribe to him on YouTube, youtube.com/Legion Rex, where he's been posting a lot of Let's Play videos lately for his old series.
From a lot of backlog stuff. I'm hoping... The reason why is I'm hoping to record Starfield when that comes out.
Hell yeah, you're going to be playing that game for like 6 years.
Don't worry. Well, yeah, fuck it. I was like, I would hope to record Starfield, and so just to get a lot of old backlog stuff that I had done, and just out there, ready to, just like out there and don't have to worry about it anymore, clogging up my computer with space. So. Yeah.
And also go follow him on Twitch, twitch.tv/Legion Rex, where he streams once in the blue moon. Maybe this week, maybe not. Who knows? We'll find out. He's been talking about it for a few weeks, and it hasn't happened yet. But don't worry.
Don't worry, because work sucks. That's what happens.
Don't worry, being adults trash. Don't do it. But if he does, he'll let you know on his Twitter and all that good stuff. Boys, with that said, we can wrap things up here. Thank you all for watching another exciting episode of Bearded Banter. We'll be back here in 2 weeks, and I'll have a PS5 by then, so I'll have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about in regards to that, so don't miss that episode. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it, and we will see you in 2 weeks. So, keep on gaming, everyone. We'll see you then.
Hey, ya.
Shit, I pressed the wrong button. We're back at the news set. Shit. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do now?
Hit the button. Hit the stop button.
Shit. Bye.